everyone. Thank you so much for joining another segment of Tina Talk. Today, I have Ms. Mona Giordano from Pest Control General joining us and give you some tips on pest control. Let's add her on and invite her into our talk.
Hi,
Hi,
Tina. So happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm good. Are you ready to talk about bugs?
Yes, I am. Can you please tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay. I am a state certified pest control operator, and my husband Peter and myself own the Pest Control General Store in Holiday. We've been there for 32 years. Mind
Wow.
you, I was just a child.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
I'm
great.
showing my age, right?
No,
Um,
not at
in
all.
any event, what we do, Tina, is we teach homeowners and businesses how to do their own pest control as well as lawn and garden care themselves using professional strength products, the same ones that the pros use, but we have such an emphasis on safety. So they're able to buy the professional products and we give them step-by-step instructions exactly how to do it so that it's safe.
Okay. So, let's talk about termites because that's what I feel like that is one of the biggest thing in the state of Florida. It's you have two homes, right? One without termites, and then one that's gonna have termite, one half termite, and one gonna have termite, right?
At some point in time, that's usually the case. Now, there, first of all, it's important to understand that there's different types of termites that we deal with in Florida. One is called a subterranean termite, and that is the termites that nest in the ground, and then they come up the house and they make these little mud tubes. Then there's also something called a drywood termite that doesn't nest in the ground. They actually gain access through the turbines on the roof or something, and they get up in the attic and then they work their way down. So it's very important in termite control that you first identify what type of termite you're dealing with. So now, in most cases, we recommend that homeowners can do all of their pest control themselves. However, when it comes to termite control, that is one area, especially if they're building a home, that they do that, do hire a professional to do that pre-construction treatment. Okay. Now, after the pre-construction is done, it depends on what product they use, the company used, as to how long that's going to last. When they're doing follow up treatments, that is something that a consumer, a homeowner can do on their own, but they want to be sure that they're using the right products and that they're applying them the proper way. So again, for if they're doing building, then hire a professional to come and do that horizontal barrier, that pre-construction treatment. And after that is done, then they can do the follow-up treatments on their own or hire a professional. They have choices.
Okay. Well, speaking of new build, and you said the pre-treatment, where, when is it that they have buyers have to kind of start looking into whether the builders are doing the correct way for the pre-treatment? When are they supposed to see that? Or should they, invest in getting a professional to come out and do that themselves?
Okay, the builders actually don't do the treatment, but they contract with companies to do the treatment. And unfortunately, in new construction, it's like the low man bid is going to get the job. So, as the home purchaser, you want to make sure that you know which company that they're going to use. And then that gives the homeowner the opportunity to contact the company to find out which termiticide, which chemical they're going to use. And here's something really important. If you look at a termite label and you follow the directions, which is the law, you have to follow the law, the label, that's the law. But the label typically reads that they establish a horizontal barrier. And then after the slab is poured and it's cured, in other words, it's set, then they go back and establish what's called a vertical barrier. Now, the vertical barrier is something that a homeowner absolutely can do, but you don't do it if that's included in the job that the professional is doing. So as if I were buying a house, and I have, we've built a house, and our son just built a house, and oh my goodness, that's a whole nother story I'll tell you in a minute. But it's important that you're educated and you know what they're doing, what they're using, what type of guarantee or warranty they provide for you. That's all very important information.
And, to kind of emphasize on that, because we are in Florida, the pre-treatment before the slab is putting down, it's very important
Oh, yes.
because, like she say, termite can get underneath the ground, and if there's happen to be any crack later on in the foundation, that's how they can get through. So the pre-treatment is so important, and you need to make sure that the builder have someone out there and that some and make sure that they actually do it right, because you don't know if you don't really take the time and kind of keep up with the progress, they may forget or things happen, especially now. I know with communities and builders that they build so many houses, sometimes things can be missed. So it's important to kind of pay attention and get on them with that.
Very, very important, Tina. Did you know this is an interesting fact I'll just throw in there? A termite can come through a crack in the foundation the size of a human hair. That's how
Wow.
small. So they gain entry into the structure, and then they wreak havoc. And then unfortunately, by the time you realize that there's something going on, they've been there for quite a while until
Oh
you
yeah.
see a swarm, or if you see mud tubes crawl, on the outside wall, you really don't know that it's going on. We've had customers come in and they notice that something's going on funny with the woodwork, the molding around the bottom of the and around the door, and they go and an investigation shows that there's nothing there. There's no wood. It's just the paint that's there.
Oh
And
my gosh.
when they poke through it, it falls apart. Now they realize that they've got a termite problem. And again, it's important to make sure that you know which type of termite. Typically, I would say that the subterranean termite is the one that they're going to come in contact with more. And
Mhm.
it's going to be things like, well, when they establish the horizontal barrier, there's the pipes, the plumbing fixtures or pipes are already in the ground. So sometimes after a period of time settling in the concrete and just time, that's where they can gain entry. So it's very typical to see termite swarms in a bathroom. A lot of homeowners will see that first. And it kind of appears as though they're having an ant swarm, but upon thorough investigation by a professional, you're able to tell the difference between ant and termite. And an ant is easy to treat, but
Yep.
termites, on the other hand, a lot more.
Yes, and
So,
it can be costly too if you don't get it treat in time or treat it appropriately. So, if you are building a house, it's a huge investment.
oh yeah,
It's something that it have to be done right because the pre-treatment is very important.
Tina, I'll tell you, having done both, we've purchased several homes and we've built a home. And then, as I said earlier, our son just recently constructed a home in South Tampa. And everybody should do it one time, maybe. But my husband, being in the business, was there every step of the way. He found problems that you cannot believe. Like initially, they had the wrong, what do they call it? The architecture, the wrong type of architecture that was going on the front of the house. The garage door was on the opposite side that it was supposed to be on, and
Right.
so you really have to be out there as a consumer protecting your interest, because when you're buying a home, you don't have an advocate on your side. And sometimes I hate to say it, some builders are good, some builders are okay, and some builders are really bad. You have to make sure that you do your homework. But having gone through building a home and gone through buying a home that was already built, I really appreciate a realtor such as yourself being on my side, making sure that everything that's supposed to be done is getting done. And I'll tell you, recently, my son had such a horrible experience. Not only did they paint the garage door the wrong color that didn't even match the house, it was just horrendous, but there were gouges in the wall. The receptacles were crooked, and there were so many mistakes, but because he didn't have a realtor, an advocate on his side, they really treated him and his wife like they were, second class citizens. They made them feel terrible and said, "You're being so picky." And it's like, he's building a
The
brand new
house.
home and
Yes.
spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. He has a right to not have gouges in the walls. He has a right to have the right color paint on the door.
Yes.
Honestly, when you build a home, you're really taking a chance. So make
It
sure
is.
that you check out your builder, or be sure to get someone like Tina that's
Oh,
gonna, take care of you and have your best interest and your investment at heart.
well, this is what I tell everyone, including, people who are my clients, who are not my clients, people in general. It's okay if you want something new and fresh and you want to build your own house. Nothing wrong with that. But it's important to keep in mind that when you're walking into a builder's without an agent, you don't have anyone on your side.
Mm,
Obviously, you have to work to be able to afford the new built home. So you're not going to be able to go out there and check on their work. And a lot of builders doesn't say, hey, you can bring your own inspector out and inspect certain phrase. And that's where consumer doesn't know, right? They depend everything on the builders. And that's where, having an agent, having an advocate, it's very important because we know the process. We know, hey, let's stop. I'm going to get my inspector out who I trust and know that he will do a good job inspecting. Because the thing is, when you wait until the last minute, first of all, if the drywall go up, you don't know what happened to the beam or the structure. So you need to do
exactly.
stage by stage, having an inspector to come in and check and make sure that everything was done right at the phase, right? Phase one, phase two. So, and what I've seen a lot is that buyer think that they can save some money by just going straight to the builders, and I am here to say that is not the case. You do not save any money on not having a realtor, an agent, an advocate with you when you walk into the builders. When builders set money, they already include that commission for your agent. So when you're not using an agent, you just give away your money and your right to have an advocate on your side.
Mm,
So, my suggestions to anyone who is looking to build is get yourself an agent that you trust and you know that will look out for your best interest. Because, guys, building a house is such a headache, it's a huge investment,
yes.
and you're going to spend more money than you ever going to think. And by having an agent, we can help you do all of that and kind of help you de-stress with all the things that needs to happen. And we can help the process go a lot smoother, a lot cheaper than you
Mm.
would think.
I can't agree more, which brings me back to my son's situation because that's, so current on my mind. I'm not going to mention the builder because I want to practice professional ethics here. But the builder basically just said, this is the way that it is. You can't do any upgrades. You can't do this. You can't do that. And they were willing to spend more money to do it the way that they really wanted it done. And I'll give you the example is the kitchen cabinets. The kitchen cabinets were all dark wood and they wanted white. Now,
Oh
there's a
no.
big difference between dark
Yes,
wood and white.
yes.
The countertops were just a very inexpensive grade of formica. They wanted granite. They wanted to
Oh,
upgrade. They were willing to pay extra money for that, but the builder wouldn't allow it. So
oh
they
gosh.
move into their house, okay, last December. And the first thing that happens is they tear out all of the countertops, install
Oh,
what they wanted. And then my son redid the finish on the cabinets. So it was so much work and so much more money. If
Yes.
Mhm. If he
And
had an advocate, a realtor on his side when he was in the very beginning stages, they probably would have known to steer him away from that particular builder and go with
right.
another builder that allows for you to do the upgrades and everything.
And
So, yeah, you really need someone to be on your side.
yes, I feel for your son. And and this is the thing. The thing is the whole point of people spending the money, right? To build a house is so they built the house they want. It's the house that they want their man
Exactly.
in.
That's
So
why you build.
right, right. I am so sorry to hear that about your son's situation. And guys, and it's so great that you talk about it because if it comes from me as a realtor, sometimes people's like, oh, she just want to be part of the deal. But
Oh, yeah.
the reality of it is, guys, I am and we are realtor. A good realtor are not just realtors. We are your advocate. We would look for your best interest. We will look out for you. And that's our job. So let us do our job to help you. And I cannot say that enough. When I hear people said, "Oh, I don't need an agent. I'm just going to go straight to the builder." It hurts because I know that with an agent, we can help them so much with the process.
Yes. And it's really the same thing. I'm going to use an example, a parallel. Why would somebody come to the Pest Control General Store instead of just going to Walmart or the grocery store or a department store? Well,
Yeah,
when you go to the grocery store or a department store or one of the big box stores, there's not state certified professional pest control operators on staff. Yeah, maybe they were a technician at a pest control company 20 years ago, but they're not up to date with all of the new chemicals, with the law changes. So when you come into a store like Pest Control General Store, not only do you have an advocate for your safety, for your children's safety, for your pet's safety, and also for the environment, but you have a professional that's going to be able to tell you exactly the right products to use, how to apply them the right way so you're going to get the best results. And it's basically the same thing. If you're having, somebody, doing it yourself versus having a professional, we kind of fill that gap. We are professionals that teach you how to do it yourself. So
right.
I'm with you. We are advocates for people and for businesses in pest control, like you're an advocate for home buyers in real estate.
Mhm. Yes, and thank you so much for bringing it up because, I often tell people, get someone you trust. But, sometimes from hearing it from an agent is very different than
Oh
hearing it
yeah.
from another buyer, another consumer, and hear the experience that you go through or your family go through.
Mhm.
So, thank you so much for bringing
You
it
are
up. And I feel so
welcome.
bad for your son. So,
Well, they've worked through it all, but unfortunately, they had to do a lot of physical labor and
and a lot of
spend,
money.
thousands of dollars more.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think if he ever builds again, he'll definitely take my advice when I tell him to call Tina Newby.
Well, thank you. Yes, and you know me, Mona. I'm
I
so
do.
easy. I pick up the phone, I answer your questions, and you don't have to use me, but what I want people to get in their head is find someone that you trust, find
Mhm.
someone that you feel that will get your back, will have you and your best interest in mind, and that's
That's
all I'm
right.
asking.
Very good, Tina. Well, it's been a pleasure being on here. I appreciate it so much. What a wonderful opportunity. And I have to say, Tina, that I just really admire the way that you do business. I mean, you are going above and beyond
Thank
trying to
you.
get people help, to educate them, to let consumers know about things. I mean, I've watched attorneys on your show, I've listened to title companies, and you provide such excellent information that people need to know. And it's very genuinely appreciated. I
Thank
also
you.
love when you go to the different neighborhoods. Tina,
Yes,
neighborhood.
Tina
I
Neighborhood.
think
Yes.
that's
You know,
so cute.
Well, due to, what's going on, I haven't done any of those. But once the market, once the market open up again, I'm hoping to do some more. But I'm glad you enjoy it. And it's fun,
Thank you.
it's just a little tidbit of the community and the neighborhood. So I hope that I want to help. I really am genuinely just want to help. And I think knowledge is power. So I
Mhm.
feel like I have the access to all these experts. So I'm gonna take advantage of it and, share the knowledge, and that's what I'm doing.
Thank you, Tina. I appreciate it. And that's what we do too in our line of business. So it's a good match.
Yes, and I love you always. Guys, I'm going to put Mona information and her business information at the end of the video. If you have any questions about pest control, please reach out to her. Thank you so much, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, sweetheart. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.